Hello again. Welcome back inside the Tier 4 studio here in Morgantown, West Virginia for 24/7 Sports. I am Mike Casazza, and today is Friday. You recognize both of those things, so certainly you know this is the 4-minute offensive where you give me a few minutes of your time and I give you a few things that I know will be important tomorrow. West Virginia playing host to number 14 Iowa State, a 3:30 p.m. kickoff at Mountaineer Field, and it's more of the same for West Virginia. 9 games in, 5 ranked opponents. You know the success and failure so far of West Virginia. Dana Holgorsen, 7-18 against ranked teams. His 2017 squad is 1-3 against the top 25. Lost on a neutral field to Virginia Tech, 31-24. Lost at TCU, 31-24. Won at home against Texas Tech, which I guess was ranked at the time, by 11 points. And then lost last week to Oklahoma State by 11 points. Not very far, but at the same time, not too close to a much better record against these top teams. And of course, overall, Iowa State happens to be one of the best and one of the most surprising teams in the country so far. Truly a good story. Would you believe the Cyclones were 54-2 all time against top 5 teams before this season and is 2-0 this season? A win at Oklahoma when a walk-on backup quarterback made his first career appearance, and I mean first career appearance at his third school, and somehow won. Outscored Oklahoma 24-7 in the second half, one of the big upsets across college football this season, and that made what happened last week less surprising. A 14-7 win at home against TCU. Up to that point, an offensive juggernaut, and yet kept the Horned Frogs out of the end zone. The one touchdown, a kickoff return touchdown. So certainly capable defensively. How can West Virginia improve the record not only this season but overall for the head coach against ranked teams? Well, it all depends on how they follow these 4 keys. And truthfully, it's just one key today. It's play your game. West Virginia has to go in with a certain style, a certain edict about how it gets toward the finish line against a team that has a very identifiable style. So it begins with play your way. And do we yet know what West Virginia's way is? I would say maybe not yet, and only because what is the mood around the team this week? A lot of criticisms and curiosities. Certainly, coaches have put a lot on the players for not being tough and not being who or what they've expected to be so far. Certainly, that's all within reason, and every player has been challenged to do and be more than what they have done and been so far. But isn't a lot of this also on the coaches? 8 games in, you would have a pretty good idea, you would hope, about what the team, what the offense and the defense can and can't do. By this point in the season, when maybe you're in, let's not call it a crisis, but certainly a fork in the road, you have to get away from the things you're not very good at or not as good as you can be, and you must focus on your strengths. If the players aren't put in good positions with game plans, situational football, preparedness, what have you, is that so much on the players or the coaches? We'll see. Identify your strengths, what you want to do, what you can do well, and just ride them out to the end. If it doesn't work, then maybe we have other questions for another week. But you also have to play in a way that neutralizes Iowa State. They're determined, they're disciplined, they don't make mistakes. You're going to have to force the issue on some things, and that leads to my second one, which is turnovers. West Virginia somehow managed to commit 5 turnovers last week, which is not really impressive, but what it accomplished was nevertheless impressive. The Mountaineers lost despite creating 4 turnovers and scoring on an interception return and a blocked punt. That's hard to do. It'll be harder to do this week because Iowa State is so clean, doesn't make mistakes. Plus 10 on the turnover margin, 17 forced, 7 given away. Hasn't lost a fumble this season. The numbers say that can't continue, so whether the first fumble was in the 9th game or the 13th game, who knows? But West Virginia has to rally to the ball, has to chop at the ball, and hope it pops out and create extra possessions because Iowa State would like to minimize possessions. Not an explosive offense, doesn't want to go up and down the field, likes to have the ball and do its thing patiently, but also productively. Third one here, special teams. You can't lose this game in special teams. You could, but you shouldn't. Iowa State will play with special teams. It will punt, it will kick field goals, it will break plays on the return game. This is just kind of what happens. They don't mind playing defense after a good punt. They don't mind asking their punt returner to make a big play. Similarly, West Virginia can't screw up in the punting game, can't screw up in the kickoff return game, can't do the things that have sometimes cost the Mountaineers in these important matchups. But we also know what West Virginia can do. Can return kickoffs, can be disruptive, as you saw the punt block last week. Going to have to make things happen there. You can't let Iowa State win this game with special teams. And then also, how about this one here? Playing ahead. West Virginia has spent far too much time playing from behind against these top teams this season. That includes Texas Tech. Remember, they were down a lot in that game and came back and won. But all of these losses, they've had to play from behind. It would be nice to play from ahead against a ranked team, especially Iowa State. Again, not an explosive offense. 7 plays of 40 or more yards. And they do really well in the second half because that's what the Cyclones want to do. They outscore teams 133-68 because they wear on you. They're physical. They don't give you plays. They don't make mistakes. They don't miss tackles. They don't blow coverages. It's going to be hard for you to get back in the game. They kind of squeeze the life out of you because they've believed in their plan. They followed their plan for more than a season now under their second-year head coach. So in summary, figure out what you're going to do and do it. Play your game. Don't get beat in the special teams. Create turnovers. Play from ahead. And then thank me on Sunday morning. That's it for this time. I'll see you next time for 24/7 Sports. I'm Mike Casazza.